So this is the AMT Automag 330 Carbine Pistol. I decided to do a disassembly video on it because I had such a difficult time finding a disassembly video for it on the internet. So before I begin, I'm going to go ahead and make the gun safe and unloaded. So we'll drop the magazine, check, make sure there's no ammo in there, the pistol is safe and empty. We'll go ahead and close the slide. Now to begin the disassembly, we're going to go ahead, pull the slide assembly back to where the notch for the slide stop is lined up. Pull the slide stop out, place it to the side, and now we can bring the slide forward off of the frame. We'll set the frame aside, and now we have the slide assembly. So the first part to disassembling the slide assembly is going to be to remove the barrel bushing. So in order to do that, this is probably the only tool that we're going to need for the disassembly. And we're going to take the barrel bushing, we're going to depress the recoil rod enough to where we can turn the barrel bushing counterclockwise and then remove the recoil rod. So we depress that, turn the barrel bushing, I don't know if you can see that, we turned it. Now keep your finger over it because it is under pressure and the spring will release it if we're not careful. So we want to make sure that we keep a good finger on that. Then we can remove the barrel bushing. You can see this is the notch that we've been lining up to for the disassembly. This is the recoil rod bushing. We'll remove that. Place that to the side. Then we'll set the slide assembly down because one of the things that we want to be careful of, and that happens quite often in the disassembly of this slide assembly, is losing the barrel delay plunger and the barrel delay plunger spring. So this, before we get there, actually we need to remove the recoil rod spring. So the recoil rod spring will come out through the barrel end. Remove that, set it to the side. Then we can take the recoil rod and it will remove to the breech side of the slide. And then this is what I was talking about as far as being careful not to lose. Maybe we can get a close-up with my lovely assistant, my wife Jessie. And you can see this is the barrel delay plunger, the pin here, and it comes out. That's the part we don't want to lose. And under that is the barrel delay plunger spring. So again, another very small piece that is under pressure. So we want to be careful when we're disassembling because these will fly away like that just did. And here it is. So just be careful. Those are a couple pieces. Parts are very difficult to find for this, by the way. So that's why I'm stressing the need to be careful not to lose your parts. Once you remove that, then we can remove the barrel, and the barrel removes through the muzzle end of the slide assembly. So you pull it through like so, and voila. Now we have the disassembled slide assembly for the AMT Automag 330 Carbine Pistol. Okay, so very quickly I'll go ahead and reassemble it. So reverse process, we will insert the barrel into the slide assembly the same way that it came out, and you'll feel it when you're sliding end to end. You'll feel it click in. Oh, get it lined up. and you can feel it kind of click in. It locks in there. Once you have the barrel in there and you can feel it locked into place, then we take the recoil rod and we'll insert it from the breech end. Place it in there like so. Once we have that in, then we can take the recoil or the barrel delay plunger spring. Place it inside of the recoil rod like so. Get a close-up of that. Actually, maybe I should, so everybody can see. The recoil rod actually is hollow on the inside. So we insert the spring first, the barrel delay plunger spring. Then the barrel delay plunger. Looks like this little guy, and it goes in there, and you'll see it is spring loaded. I don't know how well you can see. So that goes in like so. Once we have those inserted, we can go ahead and place the recoil rod into position. And when I say into position, you'll notice that there is a slight semicircle cant that rests on top of the barrel once it's inserted. Okay, so once we set that into position and we can see that there is some pressure there from the spring, we have that there. We will go ahead and next take the recoil rod spring. The recoil rod spring will go onto the recoil rod via the barrel end, the muzzle end. So once you have the recoil rod spring on there, then we can take the recoil rod bushing and orient it in the proper direction. Go ahead and place it onto the recoil rod and spring. And you'll see again, we want to make sure that we're not losing anything because it will be under pressure as we compress this for reassembly. So now next thing we do is we take the barrel bushing. I'm sure if my lovely assistant zooms in a little, you'll see the notch. And we'll start out with that notch slightly to the counterclockwise position of the barrel. Push down with your thumb on the recoil rod. And this may get a little tricky, so forgive me if I lose you on the video. But again, your trusty friend, the screwdriver, to help depress the recoil spring. And as you depress, we turn the barrel bushing clockwise until it goes into position, which you can clearly see we have achieved. So now with that in position, everything looks as it should be with the recoil rod spring and the recoil rod. And so the next step will be to place the slide assembly back onto the frame of the pistol. So we will align the slots in the slide, as with many other pistols that we've assembled or disassembled. Slide it on. And again, you'll feel the tension as we begin to install it. Once we do, we'll take the notch for the recoil or the slide stop. We will try to align that notch with the hole for the slide stop. Once it's aligned, we should be able to push that in, being careful with the little detent because it's compressed as well. We'll push this all together. And there. You can see that it has all assembled nicely. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. So it may take a little bit of finesse and finagling to get yours to go on. So I usually rack the slide several times to do a function check. And so once I have charged the slide, I'm going to pull the trigger to do the function test, but there is a history of the strut, the hammer strut, being broken in the process of doing this. So to avoid undue pressure on the hammer strut, I usually put my finger in front of the hammer. So that's what I'm going to do as I pull the trigger here. Once I pull the trigger, I'm going to keep the trigger depressed so I can complete the function check. So here we go. I pull the trigger and you see the hammer drops. I'm going to let the hammer drop gently so we don't destroy the strut. Now, once I release, or I still have the trigger depressed, I'm going to go ahead and charge the slide again. Now I should hear the reset. So let's listen for that carefully. And there is the reset. That is exactly what we're looking for. So now that we have the reset, we will charge the pistol again. Again, I'm going to pull the trigger and it should drop the hammer. I'm going to place my thumb here to avoid damage to the strut. Keeping the trigger depressed the entire time, I will charge the slide again. Again, listen for the reset. Reset's there. I should be able to pull the trigger again, and now I should be able to hear it click. So we're good. I should have probably had my thumb there to protect the strut again, but you know, I like to live on the edge. Okay, so anyways, that is the disassembly and the reassembly of the AMT Automag 330 carbine pistol. I hope that this has been informative for you. If you have any questions or if you like the video, please send me a like. Thank you.